this expansion. I don't know why. That expansion's going down anyways. He might as well counter. I honestly think that Pure at this point should be trying to go next or command center sniping or something like that, because that might be more effective than actually trying to defend himself. But those carriers now, they are upgraded, it looks like 2-2, so they are going to be pretty powerful, and that was a huge stasis actually. So Leta got caught in this choke a little bit, and there's a really big stasis, so Pure is taking advantage of this time to take out a lot of those Goliaths, but there's still a very big Goliath force. You can almost just hold position and take out all those interceptors, which would really suck for Leta, or for Pure. But you can see that there's some ghosts there just waiting to get the lockdown, but Pure is staying just outside of the range with his Arbiter and his carrier, so we are actually seeing the cliff working very well for Pure. So even though this map doesn't have a lot of cliffs in the middle, Pure is deciding where to have his battles at, and that's working out for his favor.
I'm really worried at this point. I have a feeling that Leta is going to choke financially. I think he might dry up because Leta is not making money very fast right now. Pure was not making money quite as fast, as you can see it kind of draining down there, so I don't know. Pure does have more bases on the map, and I think he has a mining base. He might have gotten back up at the bottom right. Yep, there it is, showing us right now. They're showing the spot where the ghost can be plopped, which was just freaking brilliant. He had to practice that who knows how many times in other games.
Well,
but I mean, I'm just worried. Now, at this point, you're right. I mean, Leta does have more army. He does have a ton of ghosts. He does have a lot on there, but he has to make sure he fortifies a mining base. So we can fortify the base at the top there, which I think he's going to do at this point. Maybe even take the top left base. I think that Leta can really keep a solid victory, but oh my god, that is so many Goliaths.
But yeah, as long as Leta can keep his army together, he should be alright. But like you said, and Biggie and P coming in there, that's going to really cut down the health of those, well, the shields of those carriers. But I don't understand why Leta wasn't expanding while he was attacking. That's one thing that Pure did very well this game, but Leta did not. That is a big mistake. He was trying to distance mine, thinking his units could just get it done. But really, why didn't he expand? I'm not sure why. He should have taken that fourth base and put the command center down there. It looks like he was... I mean, he wasn't completely distance mine. He did have his command center down, but not in the best position. And now, Pure is doing what I said he should have been doing, is just going for the base instead of just defending. He should be attacking with those carries. He's taking out a lot of factories of Leta. So, in fact, almost every factory is down. Leta's Goliath's unfortunately taking a while to get back here. So, maybe this map is a little better for carriers than I thought. There's the nuke. I don't know. Oh, it looks like he's going to try to lock down some of these carriers and maybe nuke on the carriers. I'm not sure where the nuke is. I don't think the nuke's on the carriers because that's too risky. They're checking around the bases now, and I don't see the nuke. So maybe it was a scare attack.
Really?
Oh, in the middle. Actually killing a lot of probes. So, again, pretty effective nuke by Leta, but Leta's not going to have the money to be buying any more nukes anymore anyways. So, not sure how long that's going to last.
I agree, and the lockdowns are working, as you said before, very astutely, man. Pure is playing really well to avoid those lockdowns. So the lockdowns are effective. I think there's been 4 or 5 carriers now that have died because of the lockdowns. Leta really needs a whole lot more lockdowns in order to take this out, because now he's going to lose his tank army. His Goliaths are too bumbling. They're like the Terran Dragoon. They're hard to get around. They're not very bright, and he's having to move them all over the place here. And I don't know. I mean, this game is still really, really close. You can look at the money going up. Again, I think Leta is mining at the top there, and he is trying to harass. But, I mean, how much can they pay for workers at this point? How much can either buy more workers? So, at this point, I don't know. It does look like that Pure is starting to lose out a little bit, but he cleared out some of the mines from the main base. I wasn't sure if we were going to see a recall in there. He did use the carriers, but no, he's not losing carriers. There's still 5 carriers, maybe even 6. It looks like there's 6 carriers right now, clearing out almost all of the Dragoons, and Leta might lose this game despite some
Leta's
incredibly
lost
pimp
pretty
play.
much his... I'm sorry to cut you off. He's lost pretty much his whole army, and he lost his factories, so he was unable to reproduce his army, and now Pure is still mining. And now he's in the natural expansion of Leta. Yeah, this is not looking good for Leta. Leta trying to get another factory going there. It looks like he's going to have 3 now. He's got 2, but wow, like you said, I think Leta's going to lose this game. He does have that 1 base mining with a ton of turrets up there, but it's only 1 base. I think Pure is at least on 1 or 2. Down at the bottom right, he's got 1. He lost this one at the top left. Another nuke going. I think this is out of desperation from Leta, though. I know this is out of desperation. He's got forces in his natural expansion. He's probably just going to try to do 1 last nuke on himself before he loses. Yeah, there's the nuke. Probably at his choker just right there to try to take all his units. I don't think Pure's going to care, but you can see Leta shaking his head. Actually, Pure is not going to move his units.
It might work.
So we might actually see a lot of units go down.
Gosh.
Oh! Really successful nuke, but there is GG. Man, great game from both players. A lot of creativity. Leta even having a really good counter to Pure's carriers, but Leta making a fundamental mistake of turtling too long and not getting another expansion. So Leta was able to go out and get that one expansion, but yep, you know, this map, I was right about that this map is hard to get a fourth. I was wrong about that it maybe favors a Terran because he had a really hard time getting that fourth base. And a lot of that is because Pure just had map control early on for so long. He had the Arbiters, he had the Mobile Force. Yeah, really, as soon as Pure got Arbiters out, he had map control. And from then on, he expanded early. He had like 5 or 6 expansions, which, you know, allowed him to lose those expansions later and still have the bankroll to fund carriers. So really, Pure, even after losing a base to a nuke, there wasn't really a time where he didn't have money. And on the other side, Leta was on his last mining base and really desperate to try to get more money back. So I'm very impressed that Pure moved on. That's pretty amazing, actually. To beat Pure, like you said, he's a pretty good player. But to beat Hyuk, who's actually kind of on fire right now, and to beat Leta is certainly impressive, especially in long games where he was probably more exhausted than Leta was.
Well, Pure just played through, what, 3.5 hours worth of StarCraft? 3 hours maybe to get to this point right here. He played 6 games, and oh my gosh, the total of the last 2 games was 90 minutes with just the 2 of them. So I'm very, very impressed with Pure. I'm really heartbroken about Leta. I mean, it's really tough for me, and I think this is why more players aren't creative. Now, Leta's flaw was not him being creative that game. That was brilliant. There was no negative to those nukes. Even the last nuke that he did, you know, as kind of a final before he GG'd, still did damage.
Well, the only negative to the nukes is how expensive they are.
Right. Well, they're expensive, but he also used the ghosts for lockdown, which was well worth it. He was able to get 4 or 5 carriers out of that. And again, the creative play isn't what killed him, not attacking and expanding, which you pointed out in the middle of that game there towards the end there. That's what you do in StarCraft. You attack and expand. He attacked. He took out 2 different bases at one point, top left, bottom right, but he did not expand to anything. He had 1 expansion, didn't expand more. So Leta, that's probably what he's going to go back and see, that, man, I was running out of minerals. I had this big army, but you can't just rely on the big army. You can't assume that army is just going to be able to wipe out carriers. Carriers, especially with Arbiters, are really hard to take out, especially in that big of a mass of them. So I feel bad for Leta. That was a fantastic game. Again, you know, tell your friends, share this game out. That was really, really awesome. Very good gameplay, and I'm excited to see Pure play. I see that Pure already is a very solid player with really good standard play, really good with standard Protoss play, with drops, with storms, with getting a big ball up, with having good army composition, which is something that, you know, is going to fare well for him. I'm curious how he's going to do against some of the Zerg opponents that are going to come up in the next round. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling that Pure's not going to make it that much farther, but certainly he played showed some good play today. It's hard to say whether beating Hyuk is that big of a task because Hyuk hasn't done well in the past, or he just doesn't have a lot of experience, I should say. But as we mentioned earlier, I mean, he was on fire. He had the Ring of Power and everything, and still got beat by Pure. So yeah, Pure definitely playing very impressive today. We'll have to see how well he does later. But I think that game, the most critical thing was just that Leta never had map control the entire game. Yeah, I mean, if you go watch that game over again, just try to watch and see how much Leta actually controlled the flow of the game. It was very much controlled by Pure. Pure had the map control to do what he wanted for the majority of the game. There was one point where Leta was really pushing out, and I thought he was going to take advantage because he had that 4th base, but he didn't have enough other bases, and he didn't have the map control to take those other bases. So even though he took some of Pure's bases out, Pure just retook those bases with the map control he had. So anyways, great fundamental play by Pure to keep that map control and ride his lead to victory, which is really what he did the whole game. Yeah, creative play from Leta, but it wasn't enough. So
yeah. Well, hopefully this isn't spoiling Group J results for you guys. Don't look at this too closely here. Oh, well, it's too late. It's already there. But there is Group K. Of course, Pure is going to be moving on. We've been casting for the last 4.5 hours. I hope you guys enjoy this. And as far as, if anybody's still listening, the Pylon Art Contest, I will try to get a video up for that very soon. We got a lot of entries, a lot of really talented stuff. So hopefully the winner will be announced. And GG to you guys. Thanks for listening.
I didn't see that.